Hare Krishna. Welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam study. This is our daily medicine to keep ourselves distinguished from reality and illusion. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate तिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासरि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So we're continuing this discussion about Vidura and Maitreya, talking about creation. So we did that part. Yeah, the two men had spent several hours talking. Okay, so we stopped at this important point being made that being engaged in Krishna's service is more important than how skilled we are, how cool we are materially, and material expertise is not something that can help us progress, but material opulence is basically something as a result of our previous karma. And we are only just kind of finishing up our good credits by being more skilled or impressive on the outside. So we're going to continue reading from here. Vidura nodded in agreement. He knew that even if people were not expert in their occupational duties, if they develop a mood of service to Krishna, they can perfect their lives. Material expertise was not as important as spiritual sincerity. Pausing there. Actually, Krishna speaks in the Gita, right? He says that every action is covered by smoke. Every action is covered by imperfection, just as fire is covered by smoke. So similarly, everything we may do, we may feel it's not perfect. It's not yet perfect. And therefore we may feel it's not good enough. But we can only do what Krishna allows us to do. And Krishna says it's better to perform our duties imperfectly than to perform other people's duty perfectly. And in this day and age of social media, there's a lot of comparison. Oh my God, that person sings better kirtan, that person gives better class. And there is a sense of insecurity to go further into our duties because we feel we're comparing ourselves with something we think. But there is so much necessity for service. And we don't need to shy away from performing our duties because of our imperfection. I face that all the time, thinking, I need to be more perfect as a devotee in order to share Krishna consciousness or preach or give classes. I feel like I must be more sattvic. I must be more disciplined. I must become more pure before I do service. And one of my Shiksha Guru often tells me, well, if you really want those things, you better do your service because there's no other way you're going to get there. And there was a time when I was feeling really down in my sadhana and really down in my inspiration in personal life. And I used to feel hesitant to give classes. And so my Shiksha Guru told me, well, this is your chance to lift yourself up. If you do not perform your duties, then there is no chance for you to get out of this deep dark hole. Like that. So personally, I witnessed this principle really working powerfully, effectively. One time I remember there was a sannyasi who was having difficulties, and all the god brothers, all the people were telling him to give up sannyas ashram and quit being a sannyasi because he was having trouble. And then I was asked to make the astrological chart of this wonderful devotee, and I saw that actually it was just a temporary phase. It was not that this person cannot be a sannyasi. It was just moment, like few moments, few months, but this person was going to feel that way. It's not that they are actually meant to be sannyasi. And I remember just being very humble and just saying that, well, I would have told if as an astrologer I saw that you cannot keep up, but actually what I see is that you should wait. You should not make any impulsive decisions to change your sannyasa ashram, etc. And then I received an email from this person after 8 months, and thanking me immensely that, oh my God, thank you, because you believed in me, you guided me when nobody else believed about me. And it was so true that it was just a phase. After 6 months, I was not interested anymore. I wasn't feeling anymore that kind of weakness. I didn't want to actually anymore, whatever, like not be a sannyasi and all the other things. So I realized from that example, it was so close to me because the person, when they wrote me, it was really melting, because it hurt my heart. Because sometimes when we are in weak situations, when we are in a vulnerable situation, people may not understand us. People actually may think that that's it. This person has fallen down and that's it. This person will never rise up. But it's not like that. Okay, if there's a little ditch in the road and we slip a little bit and we are moody or down, or we are sad and desperate, it doesn't mean we will remain there forever. It just means you have to get out of that ditch and keep walking. You already come that long way, and you keep going further. A little bump on the road doesn't mean that we are not qualified anymore. And anyway, who cares about our qualification, because we'll never be qualified. That's the truth. We are completely like, insignificant, right? Our significance comes from parampara. Our significance comes due to the service that we can do for our gurus. And what better way to cure our disease than to surrender and to stay connected to our service. So service is a very liberating factor. The last couple of years had been very tough for me on different personal front, etc. And then I was trying to engage myself in being there for others, like just serving others and just being there. And it's really magic, because you forget your own little troubles when you are there for others, and then you realize like people are in so much more serious difficulties. So, performing occupational duties can be such a saving grace, even if we're not expert at it. Because yes, I often feel I wish I was more expert to try to avoid divorces among people who come and ask me, we're having problem, or like people to marry compatible people instead of those they are attracted to, because I know it's not going to work out. I feel sometimes I should have more power, but people have their own karma. And so we don't have to be 100% qualified to share Krishna consciousness with others or guide them, because material expertise is not as important as our intention to serve the Lord. Okay? So now the two men had spent several hours talking. Maitreya, realizing that Vidura had not yet eaten, stood up. Picking figs off the tree, he placed them in his cloth before Vidura, along with a few handfuls of wild nuts he had earlier collected. My dear Vidura, you have journeyed far and must be hungry. Oh, forgive me for not feeding you earlier. Please eat your fill while I fetch river water to drink. Let's pause here. That's an amazing meditation. The figs, off the tree, pulling it out and keeping it from Vidura's chadar. That's an amazing meditation. Vidura jumped to his feet and taking Maitreya's hands in his own, induced him to sit down. Reverend Maitreya, your nectar-like teachings were food for my soul. You're as good as my father, and therefore it is not befitting that I sit while you serve me. You would be doing me a great favor by allowing me to fetch the water. Maitreya raised his hands in objection. Finally, the two friends went together to the riverside. After he was refreshed, Vidura was keen to hear more about the Virat Rupa. On his journeys, he had heard much speculation about the nature and dimensions of the universe, and he wanted Maitreya's authoritative conclusion on this matter. Maitreya sat tall and straight backed, looking out at the expansive evening sky. Who can even estimate, never mind actually measure, the greatness of the universe? He said, raising his arms towards the heavens. Although the cosmos works under the influence of material time and the karmic reactions of the living entities, it manifests from Krishna's spiritual energy, Yoga Maya. As such, no one is capable of measuring such a vast manifestation. Vidura chuckled. He told Maitreya a childhood story he had once heard about a frog in a well. When another frog jumped into his well and told him about the ocean, the first frog was incredulous. He puffed himself up to twice his original size and said, "Is the ocean twice as big as my well?" No, it's much larger, replied the newcomer. Again, the frog in the well puffed himself up further. "Is it 3 times as big as my well?" This went on until the frog expanded himself so much that he burst and died. Oh my God. Mental speculators who think it possible to measure the universe remind me of that frog, said Vidura. And the two men laughed heartily. And their laughter subsided. Maitreya humbly said, "Whatever I have told you, I've heard from my own spiritual master, the great sage Parashara. I was unable to fully understand everything he told me. Whatever I understood, I have repeated. I thank you for giving me the opportunity to glorify the Lord, for by doing so, I have purified my own consciousness. O Vidura, it is said that the highest perfection of the tongue is to recite Krishna's glories, and the highest attainment to the ears is to hear them." Hearing Parashara, Vidura affectionately thought of his own father, sage Vyasadeva, who was Parashara's son. Vidura could better appreciate why Vyasadeva was keen to compile and record Krishna's glories. By doing so, more people would have the opportunity to hear these topics and thus attain self-realization. The two saints sat quietly for a few moments, each absorbed in their own thoughts. Maitreya reflected on the current fascination with discovering the nature of the universe. He too had met sages who were preoccupied with such questions. They would speculate endlessly. When he told them that space, like all aspects of the world of the Lord, was inestimable and inconceivable, they would object. Vidura's analogy of the frog in the well accurately described such fools. He looked fondly at Vidura, who, like himself, was content to hear about and glorify Krishna to the best of his ability, confident that by this process, Krishna would reveal how to attain him. After a few moments, Maitreya said, "I'm sure you know that your father and I enjoy a close relationship. Thus, I hope you will tolerate my calling you son." That's so sweet. Vidura folded his palms respectfully and bowed his head. I am blessed. My dear son, the expectation that we can know everything is foolish. Even Lord Brahma, despite being the first and greatest scholar and poet in the universe, concluded after meditating for thousands of years that the Supreme Soul is inconceivable. If Brahma cannot properly understand Krishna's glories, how can lesser men like ourselves or the proud mental speculators comprehend him? Indeed, even the self-sufficient Lord does not know the extent of his own potency. Vidura sighed, remembering the proud Duryodhana and his associates who were unable to understand Krishna's greatness. Vidura frequently pleaded with the arrogant prince not to antagonize the Pandavas, warning him that Krishna was their protector. When, by the way of caution, he would recount Krishna's phenomenal achievements, Duryodhana would dismiss them as sorcery. On the other hand, the Pandavas, as Krishna's faithful devotees, appreciated his incredible deeds. Yudhishthir often gave the example of how a small banyan fruit contains thousands of seeds, each holding the potency of another tree, which again produces countless more fruits, each of which will in turn produce more trees and more fruits. Is this not inconceivable? He would argue. If we cannot count the number of fruits that can come from one fruit, why do we foolishly think people? Why do foolish people think they can measure the universe? Wow, let's pause there. That's an amazing analogy. If at all, we could count how much, say, a jackfruit, okay? So in jackfruit, how many seeds are there in one fruit? And then how many trees that can produce? If we cannot even measure that, if we cannot count the number of fruits that can come from one fruit, why do we foolishly think that people can measure the universe? Or why do we foolishly think that we can know everything, right? There's always a limit. Somebody might know more verses, more pastimes, but they may not be so deep. Somebody may be very deep, they may not know much information. Somebody may be very renounced, but they may not actually be good in Sanskrit. Some may be very, very good at Sanskrit, but they may not have much realizations. So no, there is nobody like who has everything. We all are parts and parcels of Krishna, sparks of Krishna with individual nature. There's a uniqueness in each of us. So we cannot be, the point is not to know everything. The point is not that I must be good at everything if I'm a devotee of Krishna. Yes, we must try. Prabhupada would like that. But that doesn't mean we put ourselves down if we're not good at one particular thing. And it doesn't mean we shouldn't do it unless we are perfect. So we should not think that I should know everything before I start. Sometimes the beginning of knowing everything or knowing what you need to know is the point. And then what you need to know, Krishna can reveal to us. Tadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. So I'll give you the intelligence to do what? Not to feel proud, not to go around, boast around like that frog and think that what I know is best. But tadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite, to come to Krishna. The intelligence is meant to understand Krishna, to come to Krishna as he would like us to know him. So it's not about what I want to know, it's about what Krishna wants. Oof, that's such an important point. Focusing on what Krishna wants us to do and not what we think we should be doing. Any comments or questions so far? Okay, we'll continue. Rasastali Mataji, would you like to continue?
Okay, I'll read. Maitreya interrupted Vidura's thoughts. Neither the Vedas nor the controlling deity of speech can fully describe Krishna's splendor. The same is true of Brahma and Shiva, the controlling gods of the mind and ego, respectively. None of the gods, nor even the spiritual master Brihaspati, can understand Krishna. Nevertheless, the faithful devotees know that the only
Okay, let's pause there. So here it's again another confirmation about Shiva being the Manobhimani Devata. Brahma and Shiva, the controlling gods of the mind and ego. So the controlling god of mind is Shiva, and the controlling mind, lord of the ego is Brahma. So it's Manobhimani Devata, Mahadev, Maharudra Devaru, we say. He's very, he's the one who gives us the ability to control our minds. Yeah, please continue.
Yes. Same source of action is to respectfully offer him our obeisance. Vidura recalled the many times he had been challenged by faithless people. If your God is inconceivable, why talk about him? How could they understand the great inner happiness he felt when discussing Krishna with pure devotees like Maitreya? Because the speculators never experienced this bliss, they had no faith in such discussions. The devotees, however, had firm faith that Krishna is the Supreme Person, the origin of Vishnu, and the all pervading Brahm. With this conviction, they relished discussing Krishna's glories.
Okay, let's pause there. This is see, this is kind of a question like, if your God is so inconceivable, what's the point of talking about him? But that's a very impersonalistic again mood, right? How could they understand the great inner happiness he felt when discussing Krishna with his pure devotees like Maitreya? So the point of discussing with Maitreya is not, oh, now I know how the dimensions of the universe work. I know how the creation is. I know everything. That's not the point of the discussion. The point of the discussion is to glorify the Lord. The point of the discussion is to feel the presence of the Lord through the universe. It's such a difference. It's such a difference. And sometimes, no, like I have some relatives who are like that, a little bit more knowledge based than, more information based than transformation. So they often say like, oh, what did you learn? What did they teach you? This is what they taught you. This is what you know. So knowing is not so much, it's not knowing in terms of the knowledge is not the point. It's about the realized knowledge. It's about the attitude with which we are hearing from somebody and relishing. Oh, that only can be explained with experience. I mean, that only can be experienced. It cannot be explained. Okay. So I think we will continue further inquiries by Vidura tomorrow, because it's another chapter which raises doubts that other people bring up. We need time to digest this kind of information, but today's is very sweet to know the point is Krishna and interest in Krishna and how Krishna does things. It's a different mood. You see, same information can be discussed in, information mood and some transformational mood. Any points you want to add, Rasasali Mataji? Taruni Radha is listening in today. I think she's busy with something.
One thing I would like to say is, if we, you said that knowledge is not important, like here. So how will we realize if we don't have knowledge?
No, it's not at all important. It's not knowledge above realization or bhakti. It's always self-realization is the goal and knowledge is the means. Jnana, bhakti, vairagya. All three are necessary, they're essential, but it's not that they're not important at all. It's less like, for example, it's not that, oh, I need to know everything. And in the effort of wanting to do things, some people forget the essence, the mood, and they get so like anxious, and they get so like how do you call agitated in the effort of wanting to know. They're doing so much over endeavor that they forget the essence of what's the point of knowing. The point of knowing is that it should inspire us to surrender to Krishna. So knowledge is only means for realization. Jnana is important, of course. Otherwise, why we're studying Srimad Bhagavatam? But studying Bhagavatam is Sattva Guna, right? And we can study Bhagavatam in Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. In Rajoguna, we can think I'm studying because I can tell that I have read Bhagavatam and I know the contents of it. That's Rajoguna. And in Sattva Guna, our intention is I want to please Krishna, I want to associate with the devotees, I want to understand how Krishna does this thing, so many beautiful conversations that will purify my existence. Like that. So we can do anything in Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. So studying Bhagavatam can also be done in 3 modes. And knowledge can also be in 3 modes. There's a whole section of Bhagavad Gita, knowledge in the modes, right? Everything can be done in 3 modes. So we don't need to focus on knowledge in the mode of passion. Knowledge in the mode of goodness will lead us to transformation. We apply what we learn. We look at things from an introspective angle. We see how we can change ourselves, how we can improve our character with the knowledge, not that we use knowledge to fight others and try to prove that others are wrong and I'm right because I know more. That's passion. So knowledge is like a knife. It can be used by different people who are at different levels in different ways. Somebody could, use Prabhupada's teachings to fight like anything. Keep saying, no, this quote of Prabhupada is superior to that quote of Prabhupada, and it's like a snowball fight. Just keep throwing things at each other. So that's like knowledge in the mode of passion and ignorance. You're destroying the faith of somebody. For example, okay, women are less intelligent. This is in Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada writes that. So, okay, you can say that's knowledge, okay? But then how you use that knowledge? You use it in tamas to destroy somebody's faith and put them down and, give them less and less opportunity to serve? Or are you using it to actually help to protect the women and like that, okay? So knowledge itself is like a knife. It depends on what you use it. Are you using it to cut somebody's faith? Are you using it to show off? Are we using it to actually further our growth and help others to also grow? Does that make sense? Is it?
So in which mode we are using this?
Yeah. Knowledge itself is not good or bad. It's the way we use it that can become good or bad.
Nice.
I mean, same thing with bhakti also. Bhakti can also be done in sattva, rajas, and tamas. You can become very fanatical, So the intention is very important. Intention to earn the knowledge is as important. We cannot separate the intention to learn from learning itself. That's the point.
Yeah.
Because these people who may say, what's the point? Lord is inconceivable. You're saying, what's the point? What's the point of learning about them? Faithless people they are, right? So they may have knowledge. Nobody's saying they don't have knowledge. They may know Vedas, they may know Mahabharata, they may know all Bhagavad Gita by heart. I know people like that. But they don't have that faith that Krishna is actually powerful to touch your life and influence you. So that's like, knowledge in the mode of passion. They just tell people, I know Bhagavad Gita, I know this, I know that. But it's not like, there's no sincerity, there's no faith.
That is why they speculate, no? Okay.
Exactly. in this speculative
Speculate.
thing. I mean, even in our life, it's not about how many degrees we have, Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Vedanta, whatever. It's not that how much of it am I applying? Am I being benefited by that knowledge? That's a question, right? How many classes we hear, etc. Yeah, very nice. But how much of it have we actually digested, and have we allowed that it nourishes us? That's the question. That's the point of purpose of knowledge.
We should apply in our lives also. That is the main.
I mean, yeah, apply, and also like, what was the intention when we started? What was the purpose of that knowledge? I mean, with anything, right? Powers. These demons wanted powers, and they would do austerities to gain powers. What was the purpose? What was the consequence? What did they earn? So sometimes knowledge in the mode of tamas and rajas can be more dangerous than not having knowledge. People can quote Shastra left and right and shlokas left and right and bring down the enthusiasm of others and say, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. Women are supposed to be like that. Women are supposed to be like this. And, they can ruin, trample the enthusiasm of people. And what kind of a protection is that? Protecting the enthusiasm of others is actually the.
I have seen it with my own eyes. Yes.
Sorry, can you say that loud because I couldn't hear it?
I said I have experienced this, what you are saying now.
So have I. So we have seen how knowledge in the mode of ignorance can destroy us. This better they didn't read that section at all than go around falsely claiming that they are knowledgeable.
Yes.
Rajastali Mataji, I am seeking your blessings. Today is my English calendar birthday, May 20th. So please bless me. Bless me to always be engaged in studying Srimad Bhagavatam in the mood of service and devotion, and also
conscious birthday to you. May Krishna bless you with everything, whatever you desire, and you attain the lotus feet of Krishna.
Thank you so much. I wish to always be in association of devotees like you. Thank you. So we can end here and continue tomorrow. Further conversations of Vidura in a fresh mind. And if possible, we can go over the Bhagavatam just to read these sections and the verses to just purify our mind and allow these amazing information to flow. Thank you. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.